Welcome back. Nearly 2 years into life with COVID, scientists and researchers continue to see new ways people are being impacted. And one recent study focuses on infants born during the pandemic.
That's right, specifically on developmental issues. Our health reporter Haley Hernandez has more on that. Haley, we're talking about everything from crawling, even talking.
Yeah, I mean, if you have young kids like I do, we all do, then this is probably no surprise to you. You might have even witnessed something like this with your own kids. Delays, like you said, in crawling, talking, writing are happening to kids everywhere, and this is important for development that continues over time. So one local center has 5 tips for you to combat pandemic delays. Whether your children were preteens, preschoolers, or babies during the pandemic,
the way we changed altered our social interactions, our sensory experience, and exposure for our kids, which does have an impact on development.
Rebecca Jackson with Brain Balance says she sees more kids coming in to work on things like dexterity, coordination, and academics. According to a new study published last week, babies born during the pandemic are testing lower in gross and fine motor and communication skills. Many are quick to point to stress during pregnancy, and for the older children, a year without face-to-face learning may be to blame. But according to Jackson, the reasons might be even more obvious.
What we're seeing is families operated different these last 2 years, where you weren't bringing your kids along to the store unless you absolutely had to.
Something that simple, she says, leads to a delay in sensory development.
Our ability to take in sensory input is what lays the developmental foundation to develop age-appropriate attention and focus, impulse control, cognition, which is memory and logic and reasoning and attention.
To offset it, find ways to expose your children to people beyond family and caregivers. Spend time playing outside at parks with all ages. Visit the grocery store or a library to see different colors and movement. Create time to singularly focus on your baby without distractions such as siblings or technology. And play with as much variation in sensory exposure as possible.
Something as simple for your kids as going from dirt to grass to concrete while barefoot, if it's not freezing cold outside, provides them a sensory experience.
Now, what they found at Brain Balance is kids who went into the pandemic with any type of delay, then the pandemic just amplified those. Some of the most common delays that they're seeing: sensory processing, which helps them to pay attention, modulate mood and behavior, gross motor skills like catching a ball or riding a bike, and sadly, guys, one that we've heard a lot about, they say that anxiety in children through the roof.
Yeah, those social cues, so important. It's very, very difficult.
Yeah, so we just hope that they can overcome this, but kids are resilient.
Absolutely.
In time, for sure.
Thank you.